before we get into this video, please make sure you're subscribed to my YouTube channel. I know YouTube unsubscribes, but I know a lot of people watch that aren't subscribed. If you enjoy the videos, please consider joining the Mucker Army, and also, please like the video, comment down below your opinion, and also, pinned down below will be my TikTok account. I'm posting daily over here and over there, so if you see this, go over and follow and comment saying you came from the Ethan video so I can give you a little shout out, and yeah, on with the video. Thank you. Hi Muckers, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you're all having the best day ever. Thank you so much for clicking on my YouTube channel and on my video today. And oh boy, this topic with Ethan Klein, the H3 team, and QT Cinderella has absolutely blown up, and it was obvious this was going to happen because it was just a really disrespectful and kind of just out of touch thing that they did, and obviously their community is upset, QT Cinderella's community is upset, and also I'm seeing a lot of kind of discourse from people who don't even talk about Ethan Klein or any of these Twitch streamers or anything, you know, giving their opinion on this because of the, you know, how serious deepfakes are and how terrifying it is and how disrespectful, like, these men's response was to a woman's trauma. And so I asked the community what their opinion was on this, and I didn't get like, oh, Ethan sucks, or I support Ethan. I got like a lot of like in-depth talking about why this is wrong or why not responses, and we're gonna go through them today, and I really appreciate that. So, for context, because it's been a couple days since we covered this, this was what happened. So on the H3 Productions show, they reacted to QT Cinderella, who is a streamer, talking about the fact that how violated she feels because there is deepfakes out there of her, which people are profiting off of, basically of her, you know, edited onto like corn and nude, lewd stuff. And there was another Twitch streamer who bought all that stuff and was talking about buying it. And she was basically talking about how violating this is, and basically, I can't imagine what she was going through, and Ethan and the team covered it on the show, and they basically just laughed at her the entire time. Ethan got Zach to play a soundbite that was making fun of her, and this was the clip if you forget.
Why? Why?
So as we can see, I'm laughing down here.
What is going on with you?
I'm sorry, don't mind me.
If you were able to look at women who are not selling themselves or benefiting off of being seen sexually.
You're a monster, dude.
You guys are crazy.
Why did you do that?
Zach, what the fuck, bro?
Again, shout out to Sam and Love, who did not have this laughing reaction.
You're evil. You're fucking evil.
As we can see. It's just so weird, but I mean...
Dude, what the fuck, bro?
What is going on here?
I'm just speechless, dude.
Get it out of your system, because I know this is...
Yikes.
That was insane.
Yeah.
They're not benefiting, they're not selling it, they're not platforming it themselves. If you are able to look at that, you are the problem. You see women as an object. You should not be okay doing that.
Like, again, he has to leave the frame because he's laughing so hard.
And it should not be a part of my job to have to pay money to get this.
Alright, anyway, and then Ethan did this half-assed apology, basically saying that he was the one that got Zach to play the soundbite that was making fun of her.
I may have mentioned in Discord for Zach to play the Just That song.
There it is. Thank you.
And everybody saw it.
Now, Dan's "There It Is" was because Dan was getting annoyed that Ethan was passing off the blame to Zach.
Thank you.
And here's what it is, and I apologize. You know, I know that it was super inappropriate, And I was thinking about Bobby, how we did that to Bobby, and it wasn't funny, and I apologize for that. I may have...
All right, okay, and so this is what I put on my community. So I said, I need to know your opinion on the Ethan situation. I'll include some in the next video. Now, I am literally just gonna read like the most interacted with ones here because I think that that is, you know, fair because it shows kind of what the community here at least are talking about. So we have one from Astra Precissi 2. I think I messed up that name. I think the thing that messes him up the most is mixing his comedic content with serious topics. He's been very stuck on this stupid song bit recently, so he's always bringing it up and thinking of it during the comedy podcast. When he talks about serious issues separately, I usually rarely and, you know, will very much so agree with his takes. And you can see that he normally does care about those things. However, he's being really stupid mixing the way that he's, you know, covering the podcast, which is basically like, you cannot do these comedy bits if you're going to cover really serious topics. And if you are, do not cover serious topics. So, we have another one from X-Gun Kura. I haven't heard many people mention it, but the overexposure of the photos and videos puts QT Cinderella in a dangerous spot. Alright, there are already tons of creeps online who objectify her, but with Ethan laughing and not taking the issue seriously, he encourages his fans to also have the same reaction, which in turn affects the victims speaking up about their issue, basically laughing at it and making them feel like it's, you know, that they're being dramatic. The truth is, having that content online puts a target on QT Cinderella's back and will always be something she has to deal with every time she goes into public. Is this guy staring at me because he's a fan, or did he see the photos and now thinks it's okay to catcall and harass me? Ethan sends his fans out when someone calls Ela ugly or comes for her, and there's no way that he doesn't understand the severity of this issue, and he should be applying how people treat Ela to how he treats other women. Alright. Confused Puppy 1 said H3 need to start covering less serious topics so they can make their jokes freely without the risk of continuously hurting people. I somewhat understand the impulse to provide comic relief to, you know, a serious topic. However, it really hasn't been the place to do so the past couple times that they've been doing this. That being said, I do think the whole situation has been blown out of proportion. So then we go on, and Clover506 says, I think he's gotten way too comfortable with knowing his fans will back him up in anything, and that creators in general now tend to be more lenient than they used to because of the full cancel culture debate, seeing most of the cancelled people, you know, not really affect them in any way. However, he needs to be more careful. So, we have Julia saying, I think everyone knows that the joke was insensitive, including Ethan, and we all need to move on. This guy streams like 5 days a week for 3 to 4 hours. Can we give him a break if he tells an insensitive joke, backpedals, and, you know, reaches out to the person that the joke is about? There are plenty of people out there that say insensitive things with the intention to hurt people, and he is not one of them. Alright, okay, so there's a lot of people kind of agreeing, disagreeing with this point, and I just kind of think that the excuse of, you know, Ethan streams a lot does not kind of warrant him getting out of any controversy. I mean, how many times have people been calling for like a minute delay on the H3 podcast now because there have been so many of these moments that have happened, and literally a 60-second delay, they can still do it live, a 60-second delay would allow Dan enough time to kind of cut a moment, stop a moment, pull everyone in. I understand the argument of, you know, you're going live every day and you're probably going to say something and mess up and blah, 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 blah. Then wouldn't you take that and edit how you do the show rather than having to continuously apologize? It just seems like reductive to me. Like, you can edit how you go ahead to stop having to constantly do these apologies for doing insensitive stuff. Alright, okay. So, we're gonna do, Kelsey said, I have been a H3 fan since the very beginning of their old channel. Unfortunately, over the past few months, earlier this year, I have come to realize that Ethan has become so jaded and doesn't operate empathy first anymore. I don't think Ethan ever did, and that's not a shady thing. I feel like that's why H3 was always popular, because they were always, you know, on the cuff. So, I'm gonna disagree with you there, that I just think that they've always kind of been like that, and that's not a problem. That has been, like, their content. He doesn't operate with empathy first anymore. I can't really make it through an entire episode anymore, besides leftovers. His horrible attitude has seemingly bled into the crew as well. I feel like they used to check him regularly and they gave him a good balance to the show. However, it doesn't feel that way and they've all pretty much became the same way. It's disappointing. Alright, okay. I'm gonna scroll down and read another tweet, kind of just to get people's opinions on this, and then I'm gonna do like a closing take, ending this chapter on my channel, my final opinion on it. So, Junkie Sama said, honestly, I can't take his apologies seriously anymore, and he and H3 need to implement some major changes in their show so that people don't have to always consider forgiving them for situations. No more live shows would be a decent solution, and perhaps that would steer clear of more controversies, serious topics in the future. But above all else, he needs to continue delivering on his word that he will help QT. Now, he said in his second apology, which was basically not the one he did live, that he's reached out to QT Cinderella and he's going to offer that, you know, if she wants any, you know, legal support, like he has it, and that's a really great thing to say. But again, he wouldn't be saying all that if he hadn't literally made fun of her and, like, laughed until he cried at her trauma, like, a day before. I just think that there is a better way to go about doing these shows now, that Ethan doesn't always have to be called out for things, or Ethan doesn't always have to be in trouble. Like, there is a way, and I don't know why the team aren't even implementing it or suggesting it, that will avoid all of this. Because there is such a big pool of people that enjoy watching the H3 show, but that are tired of having to constantly go through this narrative. I mean, a simple look on their subreddit says that. Every couple of weeks whenever something, you know, blows up, there's so many people on there saying that, oh, why can't we just do a delay, or why can't we pre-film episodes, or something like that. Like, it doesn't have to, you know. Alright, okay, so we're gonna finish off on Sky. I feel like he's the type of person who really isn't caring until it affects him directly. He'll laugh at QT Cinderella crying, but if something like this would have happened to Ela, then he would have a problem with it, and I doubt he would be making jokes. It's a shame some people seem to lack basic empathy these days. Alright, okay. Here is what my final take on this is going to be. I believe that this is a mess. And I believe that H3 have been in so many messes recently based on mixing their type of coverage. So you cannot do the soundbite humor when you're covering stories to do with trauma, stories to do with essays, stories to do with, even if you think they're topical to that moment, even if they're tongue-in-cheek, it does not work. It does not work, and they cannot be mixed. So what needs to happen is no sound bites during serious topics, or don't cover serious topics, or you can do both. You can do sound bites and serious topics, but put a delay on the live stream to avoid these impulse things where, sorry, I'm disagreeing that this was an impulse laughable moment, because it like 10 minutes after the soundbite was played as well, they were still all laughing at, you know, at it. So let's not do that excuse, but a delay would allow them to do the show the exact way that they're doing it now. And I don't see that as an issue. Like, I don't see how doing a 60-second delay will so fruitfully change the show. It won't. It'll actually protect all of yous from fucking up again. That's my final take on this. That's the Muckers' take on this. That's us closing the chapter on this until something else happens, which I'm sure it will in a couple of weeks. Let me know your opinion. Like, your closing take on this, because people are still talking about this. I mean, the Reddit is still talking about it as well. Let me know. We'll talk about it down below. I appreciate you being here, and I will see you in my next one, and bye. Mwah.